Hello.
I'm Shana.
I'm Nikki.
And welcome back for another episode of Girl Cuss Hello.
Hey, y'all.
How you feeling tonight, sis?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to record. My day was a little off, but I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready. How about you?
I'm feeling good all over.
I feel good. Yes. That's how we started.
I feel good, baby. I feel good all over.
No, I really can't complain. Whatever hurdles gonna be hurdling. So I'm here. I feel good about recording as well.
You look good.
Thank you.
Your hair is hearing.
Thank you. Y'all see? Because I had the braids now. Here go the hair, y'all. I got some hair.
That's her hair.
I got some hair. I ain't really baldy. I got a little whoop-de-whoop.
Because you know sometimes people play a lot. Sometimes you gotta pop out, let them know what it is, but it's okay.
Yes, but y'all know what? I'm not a fan of real hair. I'm not a fan of real hair no more. I feel like it's too much to keep up with.
Too much work.
Maintenance and time my hair sweat out and I gotta do my edges.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to be a braid type of girl or a wig. You know, I never had a wig. I want one so bad, but I'm nervous, y'all.
Well, what you gonna do with a wig, Shane?
I don't know. I just wanted to look as natural as possible, and if it don't,
well, it's gonna squelch your head. Your hair gonna be squeezed up. Then what you gonna do?
Snatch it off.
See? Well, try it. Y'all stay tuned. See what's up with that.
I do want to try one. But tonight, here on Girl Cuss Hello, we are talking about parenting, different parenting styles, how we came up, you know, how it was parenting for us when we came up, now that we're adults and we have children, how are our parenting skills, to a married couple versus a single household, what does that look like? So we are here to talk about that tonight.
Okay. So what's up?
So, we know you're married, you have been married. I'm the single one. For now.
It's counting down, baby. It's counting down.
So, how was it for you? How do you feel, you know, when you was married with a two-parent household? What did that look like for you? Do you prefer? I know a lot of people, you know, as we coming up, we think that's what we supposed to have, right? Two-parent household. I know for a fact I wanted that for my child. So you being married, how was that for you? Or if you had to choose, what would you prefer?
So let me start in chapter 1. Let's start in the first marriage. So the first marriage, the boys were really young.
Okay.
I separated from their dad when Miles was 2 and Miles is 15. So the boys were really young. Mac was newly diagnosed with autism. I think he might have been, I don't know, whatever the age. But the boys were really young. So the oldest are 16. The oldest are 16 months apart. And then Miles came as a surprise. Today, another day. It was interesting. I will say that because their dad wanted children as soon as we got married, and I bought that man a dog.
You said
I bought him a pit bull named Cola, and that saved me a year. So, like I said, the two oldest were back to back. It was okay. It was good. I feel like he was very hands-on. I have 3 boys. He was definitely very active with the boys. But the issue was he worked a lot.
Okay.
So that changed the dynamic. So I really was the main parent in the home. Like he would work 6 days a week, 16-hour days.
Okay.
So, but I didn't work at the time. He wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom.
So I guess, do you feel like, even though it was 2 parents, it was still kind of 1 parent in the household because dad was always at work?
Yeah, dad was always at work. And it was okay. I think the ideal of being a stay-at-home mom was more than the experience for me because it was very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
One, I think that the dynamic just with my marriage, I didn't feel supported emotionally. So that made it more difficult. But in the parenting aspect, me and Kenya brought our kids up together.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent days at the mall, at the playground with the kids, the whole nine. But in regards to the whole parenting part, I think it was more so one-sided. But when their dad was available, he was very much so hands-on.
Okay.
Hands-on. Or when we went to practice our religious belief system, he always had the boys with him. And I could enjoy the service type of time. You know, but it just seemed like he wasn't there enough. All of the hard work very much so seemed to be on me. But again, my kids were very young at the time, and I was always tired. Now, fast forward, the boys are again 15, 19, and 20. And he sees the boys every other weekend for, I don't know, maybe 13 years. Never missed the weekend, but he's a parent over the phone for his children. And we live in the same city, but he's more so a parent over the phone. He'll call them, they'll have conversations, but I, again, still am the primary parent, you know? So if anything happens, if it's a game, they like, Mom, you coming to the game, right? I think their dad is like my dad is at work. So but the expectation is for me to always come. Which I still always came, but I always felt that their dad got a pass because he was at work. Where, okay, I stayed home for maybe 2 years, but I too worked my ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Still work, man, to stay home.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, and then I took my ass back to work because I was like, oh no, I need a little bit of freedom. We're gonna have to spread this out some kind of way because I felt like I was getting burnt out. And I think going back to work was a good thing for me. The boys love their dad deeply. He's very much so involved enough for them because I tried to push the narrative like, why don't you go have dinner with your dad? Why don't you stay at your dad's, on a Tuesday night or whatever? Call your dad, see what he's doing. And they like, Mom, we good. I'm good. We good right here.
So they comfortable and cool.
They comfortable and
going.
Yeah.
With the parents and stuff between y'all too.
Yeah.
That's good. Again, everything works differently for everyone. Me and his dad, we tried the whole, let's make this work. Once I found out I was pregnant, that happens. Like, hello? I didn't even know what to say. But anyway, it happened and we tried to make it work and it didn't work. And I could not see myself forcing it to work just so Samaj could have a 2-parent household. Again, that was something I wanted for him. I knew around the time when I was pregnant, it was a fear of mine that if we break up and now I'm going to be like a single mom, like it was just a big fear, just knowing what, some of my friends went through or just what happens. Like it's single moms all over. I didn't want that for me. But whatever it happened, if I had to choose, I definitely would choose to have a 2-parent household. Doing it on your own is a lot. But I do it. It is what it is. I do have help and support. But, I work night shift. I know I said that before in season 1. We talked about we night shifters. So my family that do help me, Samaj will go, to their house when I do go to work. So that's one thing that frustrates me at times because he can't stay here. Of course, he's too young to stay here alone. And he have rooms, when he goes to my other family member's house, he has his own room. Like, it's just like home, but it's not home. So that's one thing that frustrates me. But it's like either way I would do it if I switch to day shift. Then I got to get him up extra early to drop him off before I do go to work. So either way I do it, it will be hard. But overall, as a single mom, single parent household is way harder with everything that he has to do because once he started getting into different activities, I got to be the one to go to work, to take them, you know, do the homework, do this, do that, do everything. So I know if it's part of God's plan and I get the opportunity to do this again, I would definitely be team, you know, 2-parent household. I also think, like I know you said dad was at work a lot. So I sometimes often, okay, how would I handle that? Could I be a stay-at-home mom? I think I'm open to it because, you know, I don't think I would mind because I never think, like I said, I do it all at home and then I still do it all financially. So maybe if I had maybe the financial help, then that's like a burden off of me where I'm not taking over everything. So now I probably feel a little bit more at ease, or maybe now I can drop to part-time. So now I don't have to work full-time or pick up extra shifts. Now I can just be at home. He can be home. You know, we figuring out is a lot more weight off of me. So I definitely would think I would definitely be team 2-parent household. Definitely for the, you know, support, more love, more help. But you know, it is what it is. I still make it work. There's still time for that to happen.
It is.
I know when I was coming up, my parents were married, but I was young. Well, I was young. But when they got divorced, I was young. So I really don't remember, you know. I remember when we moved, I think I was like in 6th grade or something. So I do remember us moving. I don't really remember our life when they was married, let me say it like that, because I was like super young. So once they got their divorce, I was still kind of young. So when we moved, I don't even remember if it was a struggle because I just went to school and came home. So I guess I didn't have to know what was really going on. I just knew mom and dad wasn't really living together no more. Again, I don't really know what that done for me as a child, but once I got older, I know it started bothering me. So my mom did remarry. So technically we still had, you know, once she remarried, we still had a 2-parent household. I'm a daddy's girl.
No one else like my daddy.
As good as our stepdad was to us, and God rest his soul, I just was like,
like, why are you here?
Whatever. I never forget, he told my mom I bumped him in the hallway. I'm like, Mom, I did not bump him. But he was definitely good to us. So I also, now that I sit back and think about it, that was help, you know, for my mom. Because I'm sure she was taking on a lot as a single mom, doing it on her own, now that we're primarily with her.
Right.
My dad remarried as well. You know, he had another family. We still would go over there at times, but he still had another family, and now we're still primarily with my mom. So once she remarried, I'm sure that was extra, you know, help for her.
I think it's the support system.
I think that's like probably number one. I know right now I'm just like, God, please, because that's needed. Like I said, you do what you gotta do when you a single parent, because I'm not just going to say single mom, because there are single dads too.
Absolutely.
But you do what you do what you have to do, whether you get extra help or whether you maybe work online instead of actually going, you know, into a building to work, or however you do it, you do what you have to do. But I think that support, that extra help is like priority, I think, for me, you know, moving forward in my life.
And even the support in the house though. Because you can be married and one of the mom or either the dad is very hands-off. Yeah. It's men and women that may go to work or may go out and do whatever they have to do financially and then come home.
And still do the house stuff.
Yeah, and it's emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
They might just sit on the couch and is not present, you know? I think that a fear for me when I did leave my marriage is that I knew that I was not going to be in a serious relationship once I left their dad. One, I had 3 children that were young, and I had a severely autistic child that was nonverbal and aggressive and became aggressive as he got older. And I think that was a decision that I had to be very comfortable with before I left.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, okay, Nikki, this is all you. This is all on you.
So you thought about staying because of that? Like,
Oh no, I was still out.
Okay.
I just had to let myself know as a woman
That you would be
that,
okay.
That I didn't think that someone would want to be with me because I had 3 children and one with special needs. Like, I didn't even consider for myself being with anybody seriously. Like, according to me, I can go out, do my dirt. That's separate from me being at home. And then I never thought that I would get remarried at all.
With all my heart, I love you, baby.
God's plan.
Yeah.
That's definitely, I can see that just being a fear. But even still, when you dating or you ready to get in a serious relationship, now this person has to be around your children. So you got to think about them too when you're, making that decision.
And you typically make all the decisions for your child. As a single mother, you make the main decisions for your for your child, even though you have support, right? You are the primary caretaker. Now, when you get into a relationship with someone else and y'all are engaged or, y'all going to get married, y'all together, his parenting style may be way different than yours.
So how do you do that?
Ooh,
or what if he doesn't have any kids? How does that work? Do you prefer someone that has kids? Do you prefer someone who doesn't have kids? For me, I don't think that would be a big factor if they didn't have kids, because I feel like some people that don't have kids are great with kids. Like we work with kids, and I see people, that I work with, and I see how they are with the kids that we work with, and half of them don't even have kids. So some people are just naturally great with kids, and I think that's amazing. You don't have to be great. You don't have to have children just to be great with kids. So I think before I was like, oh, I think I would want somebody with kids since they already kind of, but no, that don't mean nothing, because somebody with kids can be a complete asshole to kids.
Absolutely.
So that.
Now, do you think that you would have, so marrying or getting into a relationship with someone that doesn't have children, are you willing to have children in the future? Because for me, that was another thing, because I was fixed. Nothing else is coming up out of here. Nothing. And I made that choice soon as I had Miles. I was like, no. Like, if I get into another relationship, they need to have their own kids, or either be with someone that can have children, because I'm not doing this again. So how do you feel about that?
I'm open to having
4 more?
One. I mean, one more than I'm pushing, like that I'm literally push.
2, 3?
1. I don't know where the numbers keep going up. Now, I think
he can want 2.
You know what? I guess I'm just go back to his God's plan.
God's plan. God's plan.
Because I can sit up here and say, I can just do 1 more and that's it, but God can be like, twins, and then I'm like, hello?
Yeah. You play a lot.
So, my prayer when I pray and ask God, send me the husband of your choice. So if it's his choice, it gotta be right. So
I think
I'm prepared.
Yeah, the other part is age difference. Because one of my friends from years ago married someone, and she got about 8-10 years on him.
With the guy.
Her husband.
Okay.
Her husband, and neither one of them had children. And
did she want?
Yeah, she wanted children, and they have 2.
Okay.
But he wanted a 3rd, and she was like, I'm a little bit older. Yeah. I'm not doing the 3rd.
That's definitely,
Well,
love is love.
Absolutely.
I know. Now y'all know, Little Ratchet TV is heavy in my past. But if you know me from season 1, you know that. But I know on Basketball Wives, Tammy and her husband, Reggie, that's his name.
They got a big age gap.
Yes, and he wanted children. He never had children. She had grown women by the time, you know, she was with them. They were in their, I think, like 20s or something. So they're adults now. So I know that was like a struggle, you know, for them. But at this stage...
Do you think it was more so a struggle for her?
Well, I said them.
For him.
I said it was a struggle for them because they were together. So I think she wanted to do it, but I think she felt like I'm older now. It's going to be harder. So I think she more so wanted to do it for him because he never had kids. He's in love with her. They, you know, get married and everything. So she wanted to do that, but I think she had complications that made it hard. And I think it was just like, it was to a point where I think she wanted to break up with him so he can go have those children that, you know, he wanted. And I was like, wow.
I was going to ask, like, where, like one of the previous episodes, when someone wants something that you cannot provide within your marriage, you can't provide it, or even before you get married, somebody might say, yo, I want a 4-piece. I want a 4-piece and maybe a biscuit. And you like, okay, I want one. And I don't want to adopt. I want all mine natural.
Well, hello? Sounds like it's stuff.
No, because for me, it was a very, when I chose, literally, before I got off the table with having Miles, I grabbed my doctor arm like hard and was like, can you wrap this up now? And she's like, no, you need to heal. And I just didn't understand because I felt like she was leaving me out there to get caught up.
Right.
But I got my tubes tied maybe 2 months after I had Miles because I knew I wasn't having any more children.
So I think it's some people, like you, for example, you know for a fact, I'm not having no more. I don't care who come around. I said what I said. And then it's people who say the same thing and then they meet somebody and want to change their mind. So I think I'm here for intentional dating, especially as you get older. I think those conversations should be heavy on the first couple days. Like, what are you looking for? What do you want? You know, what's your end goal? Because we shouldn't be out here wasting other people's time, you know. And some people just want to date for fun. That's cool too. But if you're dating for an end goal to be in a relationship and be married, let's have these conversations now. However, you can think maybe at 35 you don't want no kids, or, you know, 30, whatever age, and then maybe in a couple years you might change your mind. That can happen too. So I think that's just something that should be talked about from the beginning too. Well, what if we change our mind? What if, you know, what is that going to look like? Like, those deep conversations I think are very important, because like you said, you can meet somebody that have 5, 6, 7 kids, and maybe you only got zero or one. So now is it like, do we just assume this person don't want any more kids? Do you just say, you know what, I'm not even going to date him or her because I may want more. He or she got a football team. They might not want no more. Not even that. You also think about like time. How does that work? Like, if you have a lot of kids, maybe I got 0 or 1. Now, how do we make this work? Because you still gotta, you know, spend time with your kids. You know, now, if we taking this serious, now how does this work? How are our parenting styles working? What are we doing together now we're married? Like, just how does it all work? I think that's very important to discuss early on. Or do you feel like, you know what, he or she got too many kids, I don't even feel like dealing with all the drama. I'm going to look for someone who maybe got 1 or 2 or maybe not. Like, because what if that person who got 8 treats you like the queen? And then that one who got 1 or 0, you've been through hell and back. Like,
or is never even involved with their children.
Right.
Their
or
child.
never even want kids. Like, what do you do with that?
I know a couple that the mom had two children, the dad had no children, And it was a very deep and serious conversation because she was very much so like, I'm not having any more children. And I know that we love each other, but I'm not trying to hold you back from being a natural father to these kids, you know? And it was his choice to say, no, y'all are enough. This is what I choose. You know, and that, I think that that's a very difficult conversation to have.
I think it's adulting, and I think it's very respectful. Like, I'm telling you, this is what I want or don't want. Mm-hmm. Now I'm giving you the opportunity, you know, to choose. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Or you can say, okay, we don't want to have children. And then the dad is very firm on, I don't want to have any children. And maybe 5-10 years later, y'all end up pregnant. And the dad say, I told you I didn't want to have children. And he right here with it. Then what? You know what I'm saying? I think parenting is a choice. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have children, as many children as you want to, long as you know, getting active, doing the Uchi Wally Wally, the Uchi Bang Bang. Uchi Wally Wally, Uchi Bang Bang. Something is going to occur. I think it's the commitment.
As adults, we know that.
Right,
so
right.
So here's my thing. We both saying we don't want kids. Well, all that raw dogging you think you about to do, no. Because you're not about to. So, because what if I don't want to get on birth control? Right. Because what if I just start?
Right.
And you don't even want to use condoms because we in a relationship. Now what we doing? Like, if we
y'all playing with fire.
So,
Absolutely.
when you have these conversations, it got to be the detail. Like, so how we practicing safe sex now, because neither one of us want children, or you don't, or like how we, figuring this out. Do you think, like, how was your upbringing? Did you have both your parents in the house? Do you feel like, if you had that's something that made you want to have two-parent households? Seeing that when you was a child, did you feel like, oh, I want to be married because I had it when I was younger? Like,
well, I had a two-parent household all of my childhood. And my parents were very much so in love and showed it, okay?
Girl, you know I love you.
And I had very fond memories of growing up as a child with my parents, thank God, because it was 4 of us. It's 4 of us. It's 4 children. I'm the oldest, and I have 3 brothers. My parents, they would dance to Butterball on Sunday nights in the middle of the living room, and we would just sit on the couch and watch.
Around.
Yeah, they would, like, my dad would sing to my mom, and they would bop in the living room. My mom would have on this long silk robe. Like, I have very great memories of my parents, for real. Because they were in love, like, kissed inappropriately, fondled each other in the kitchen. Yes.
It was inappropriate to you.
Yes. Now it's me. I'm her. I'm them. But then I also had memories where my parents, when my mom would kick my dad out, and I wouldn't see my dad for what it felt like forever. I don't know what real time was as a child. I would see them argue, and it was hurtful for me, because I'm like, what's going on? But the part of it is, it's a marriage. So it's not going to always be good, but the parenting style, I really enjoyed my parents because they just allowed us to be who we wanted to be, but they really instilled in us, like, you are the greatest. Like, literally. My dad would have us stand at the bottom of the steps, so it was like 2 steps, a landing, then you go up the steps, and on the landing, my dad would say, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Nicole such and such. And he like, who are you the son of? Who are you the daughter of? And I would say, Garrison Freeman. And then he like, and you are the greatest. And you are the greatest. Like, that was like rote teaching for our childhood.
Daddy's little girl, Daddy made a soldier out of me.
And my dad would make us write reports on Gandhi and shit. I was in the 4th grade writing reports on Gandhi. Or he would take us all to go see Malcolm X. Or I would, like, have in-depth debates with my dad over anything. You know, so I really do appreciate my upbringing. And my mom had me cooking in heels in the 4th grade. Like cleaning whole chickens, cutting the chicken up in the 2 breasts, okay? In her heels.
Why the hell?
Because she said men like heels.
Bet you ain't know that I be checking you out when you be putting your heels on.
She was molding me as a little girl to be a grown-ass woman. And my mom said, you always got to be marketable.
So do you feel like, well, that make a lot of sense now.
Yeah. It's natural.
So you feel like seeing that, them being married, that inspired like you or even like your siblings, like to be married and everything.
Yeah, we all got married young. My brothers got married younger than me.
Was your parents, did they marry young?
I don't know, because I think
Okay.
my dad was, I was 5 at my parents' wedding. I was right there like, I do. Okay, but I think my mom, I don't know. I think my mom had me at 25. My dad was 30.
Okay.
But they had been together for 5 years or so.
Before they got married.
Yep, and it was just them two, and they liked it that way. But yeah, I think that parenting, I just feel like parenting has to be a choice. You know, and being in a relationship has to be a choice. Like, you have to commit to this partnership. Because I could really be absent. Like, I don't have any girls. Of course, some women will say, I got boys, that's their dad. Like, I'll cook and do what I got to do. But, like, their dad can raise them. Men raise men. Some people can really check out with, like, on that tip.
And that's not always true. We hear that gender. At the end of the day, I would definitely believe the children need both parents.
Absolutely.
However it's going to be, whether we together or we not, they still need their parents. Like you said, parenting is a choice. When we get pregnant, we got choices. Before we whoop-de-whoop, we got choices. So I'm a firm believer, and I'm not forcing no one to be a parent. You know that you are a parent. If, well, some people might not know because they didn't tell them, but whatever. Once you know you have a child, you know you are a parent. I don't care how many books they say, you know, there are. We learning every day. I was just having a conversation with my girlfriend. She recently had a baby. Shout out to her because I talked about it in season 1. But we just was saying, you know, once they you push that baby out, they literally put that baby on your chest, and you like,
that's you.
All right, now what? Like, and I guess it just comes so natural, you know. Of course, for women, and not even gonna say all women, because some women disconnect. You know, some women give their children up for adoption, and I respect people who give their kids up. If you feel like you can't give them what they need, I respect that. It's no judgment with that. You know, I know that's probably a hard decision to make. You know, you carry that baby for 9 months, and then you feel like you have to give them up because you can't do it. But that's a big decision. So I'm definitely want to shout out, you know, whoever gave their child up for adoption, whether y'all were married or you got pregnant on your own, or however the story was. That's a really hard decision. And if you did that because you felt like you couldn't be a mother or a father or whatever, you know, what the situation was, shout out to y'all, because I think that's amazing to be able to do that. But like I said, you know, they put that baby on your chest, you like, okay. The first thing I'm like, latch on, please.
I had a whole meltdown when I found that I was pregnant with Marcellus, and I was good and married.
Really?
What? I had a whole.
So did you ever
Mid-year.
want kids? Like, was that part of your plan?
I said maybe one, and I didn't see myself married.
I didn't think I was going to have one. And I never forget a conversation I had with my friend, and she was like, well, y'all just kind of, because me and the guy, we happened fast, me being transparent. She's like, you don't even know him. Girl, I didn't know him. I did not know him. And me and her, we talk about it sometimes. I'm like, girl, if I could do it over again, I might have listened to you. But I was just, you know, life happens. Again, we have choices. and choose to be a parent, because there are other options, whether you do abortion, whether you give the child up for adoption, or either if you do condoms and birth control and what do they call it, the pull-out method. We all know that's not 100% safe, but whatever. We have choices. Those conversations are very important, because being a parent is not easy, whether you are married or doing it on your own, because there's, you got to take care of the kids at the end of the day, right? So some parents are working jobs that require them to be away from home a lot. Like Nikki said, when she was married, her husband was working 16 hours. So by the time 6 days a week, by the time he come home, he want to go to bed and do it all over again. You got people who probably in the Army, the Navy, people driving trucks in different states and all, like, it's all types of jobs that could keep you away from home. And some people, they make it work, It's some situations where when they have these type of jobs, financially they still can provide for their family. So now maybe the other parent is home, putting in all that time with the kids, but that still can be a lot on them.
Yeah,
too.
I think for me, if I could choose, although their dad definitely provided very well, I would have much rather preferred my relationship and my children's dad being more present than the money.
I agree with that. I think that's way more important. And I say that because, like I mentioned, before, when I work so much, I see how my son is affected. I think I mentioned this before too. My sister, her kids are older now. They're teenagers. 16, 19, 21, 16, 18, 20, somewhere around that field. And, we was having a conversation, and just from talking to them, they would have preferred moms to be home a little bit more, but she's like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do, which, as like I said, as a parent, that's gonna be our main thing. I gotta do what I gotta do to make sure my kids are good. We got a roof, we got food, we got everything you need. So that's, I think, you got the kids thinking one way, and then the parents, adults are thinking the complete opposite. But I think you still got to find that balance. So,
and make the time when you are home, make that time worth it. Whether it's taking the kids now I will say he did take us on hikes and play basketball and stuff, but it was one day. You know what I mean? Or not even one day, a couple hours, because he still had to sleep and all of that. But in talking about, having, like me being steadfast and saying, I'm not having any more children, that's not up my alley. I will say with my relationship with my husband, I always say he would have been a phenomenal dad. Like if I was to do it again, he would have got that baby from me. Yeah, for sure. Because he's a very committed father. Like that's I think important. I think that it's like one of his prized things besides his belief system. Like being a dad is just like the most important thing for him to do.
That's good. I would love to see active parents, because again, I'm not just going to single out father or mother. I just like to see parents involved, period. And at the end of the day, like again, I know for me, I felt like I always had to do the most. Like when I am off and wanting to do stuff, I gotta do a lot, and in reality, I really don't. He just wanted, at one birthday, he just wanted to go outside and ride his bike. I'm like, hello, I'm thinking I needed to do whoop, whoop, whoop. And that's all he wanted to do. So sometimes they just want to be home. They just want to be in your space. Like it's not always about, oh, we got to go here. We got to go there. We got to spend all this money. So we thinking, let me work and get this money so we can do this. So sometimes they don't even need that. So my advice is definitely number one, if you do have children, and whether you are a single parent, one parent household, or even if it's two, maybe your jobs is taking some time. You got to find a balance. Whatever that looks like, you have to find a balance. Even if that means you take them to work with you. some jobs you can do that. Maybe you have your own business, you know. Bring them to work with you. Like, they just want to be around. They want to be in your presence. Yeah. And then for people who don't have children and maybe you want children, maybe you see that in your future, have those conversations, you know. Get to know the people you are really interested, or whoever you may be thinking about having children with. Get to know them, you know. If they do have children, pay attention to how they parent with the children they do have, or they don't have children. Have those conversations, because I think the goal is, I would love for a goal to be, especially within our Black community, to have more, you know, 2-parent households, and not just getting in situations and now it's like, oops, and now it's a hot mess. And but then again, people do break up. Yeah. Some people be happy, and then things change. Life happens, though, you know. But we still gotta take care of these kids who did not ask to be here. So
yeah, for sure. And I like to big up the young ladies and the men that say, I don't want children. It's not a part of my narrative. It's not something that I want to do. And they're selfish enough and aware enough to know that that's not selfish enough about themselves, because I'm a believer in making Nikki first. You know, understanding like, okay, this is not for me. This is not what I want to do. And even with the conversations, because you're going to come across people that say, I want you to have my baby. I want us to have this relationship. That's from men and women. But to understand, like, I'm not a mom. It's not for me. That's not what I want to do.
A shout out, because people do it for different reasons. Maybe because somebody else wanted them to do it, and now you here with the baby that you didn't even want, and now that's just about to go left. So I definitely appreciate that too. Definitely shout out to y'all who say, and it's okay if you don't have kids.
Absolutely.
It's okay. It's people who wish they had kids, and there's people who wish they didn't. So if you choose not to, block out what everybody else saying, because you know it's always somebody in the family like, why you gonna have kids?
When you gonna have a baby?
Be right here with me, helping me take care of it.
Right.
Like, if I feel like I can't take care of the baby, I'm not going to have it. So I respect that as well.
And I think that lends to abusive relationships too. Either with the other parent, or children being abused or neglected. Like, I never wanted this baby. I thought I was going to be with your dad. You look just like your dad. You look just like your mom type time. And then you have these scarred children that's here because of a whim, because of a hope or a prayer.
Like that. You look like your mom. Who am I supposed to look like?
But people live a horrible life being neglected and abused because they remind the parent of that absent parent.
I think that's,
or that absent lover.
Mental health type of vibe. Because now I know for a fact I do, when people say, oh, sorry, y'all, I got something wrong with my eyes. She might be stop for it.
But why I swinging like I had a bang, girl? Hello? I said, girl, it's the bang, girl. What?
Like, I know when people say to me, like, oh my goodness, he look just like his dad, I do a little eyebrow, like, okay. But then when people say, oh, he look just like you, I'm like, I know. But you know, whether he look like me or his dad, that don't got nothing to do with whatever me his dad went through. That is still my kid. I'm still gonna love him down.
Don't love like this again. You made for me, just for me.
If he literally look like the same person that, you know, pisses me off, whatever, that he don't got nothing to do with that. It is what it. Who he supposed to look like? He gonna look like one of us,
right?
Because if he don't, now we gonna be like, hello,
right? But that's a beautiful space to be in, because a lot of people,
and that's sad.
Don't feel
I
that
think
way.
That's very sad.
So with it, so my question is, what part of your growing up, and being parented, do you want to instill in your relationship with Maj?
For sure. So, I guess I'm going to say both of my parents are very, very affectionate. So, that's probably Well, I'm a lover.
Yes,
Y'all,
she is.
I'm a lover. I love.
You
to
love.
I'm a lover, but hello. Okay. But for sure, and it's so funny because my son is naturally affectionate. I think he got me beat. Sometimes I'd be like, we just hug 8 times. You want more?
One more.
But it's okay. For sure, we can hug 20 times if you want. So that for sure, my mom is definitely like, hi, and I love you when I sing the song. Like, that's just her personality. And my dad is the same. Like, when I sing him, like, hey, baby girl. And my siblings, I get on their nerves so bad because I'm like, hey, dad. Like, I hyped up. They be like, you so jealous. But that's just me being me. So that for sure. And another thing, like when I was younger, me and my sister, we did like cheerleading. We guess we was like in middle school, grade school, whatever y'all want to call it. Cheerleading, basketball, like we did a lot of activities, and my mom was like involved. Like she ran the concession stand. The game started probably like 8, 9 o'clock. We ain't leaving till 6 or 7, and this was every Saturday. So it was like she was sacrificing, you know, her weekends to do stuff for us. So I thought that was like really dope, especially as I'm older now. Like they would even go. I think they would spend their own money. Maybe the school probably would give them, like, reimburse them, but they would go to, like, BJ's and get the snacks and stuff and, like, run the concession things. Like, sometimes my aunt will come and help. So I always thought that was, like, dope, even now as an adult when I sit back and look on that.
Ain't a woman alive that can take my mama's place.
I like that. That's something that, like, even you know, all Miles games, you're, like, right there. I love that. So once Samaj figure out, you know, or whatever activities he decides to do, I want to be the same way. I always just love that.
Yeah, parenting is something else. You know, watching your parents. I feel like it does mold your my thought process of what it should look like, what me having children should look like. And then when I decided to leave my marriage, it was very much so like, oh God, I'm going against everything that I've been raised around. But I was willing to risk it all because I had to save myself. And then, like you said, God's plan, I found myself in a relationship that was very supportive. And the ideations that I came up in my mind of nobody would want to be with a woman with 3 children. You know, I was proven.
You were wrong.
I'm wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
And I think that's why I'm all for not staying in something just because of the children, because you don't have to be with the other parent just because of the children. Y'all can still parent without being, you know, in a relationship, because you can meet somebody that can love your kids just as much as you do, you know. So now they got bonus people to love them. So that's why I'm all for not, you know, staying in something. And then when you do get in other relationships with people that do have children, you also have to be ready for that. You have to be open to that, you know, because y'all might have different parenting styles, you know. So now y'all having conversations, you know, about, you know, how each other parents. And then not even that, you can also learn from one another.
Absolutely.
So it's not like a horrible thing. Again, you got bonus people to love and bonus people to love you. And
And you fill in a gap. Like, depending on how you were raised, you may not have had a very nurturing mother, you know, or a very nurturing father. Because fathers are absolutely nurturers as well. But you may not have had nurturing parents. But then once you have your child, or you get in a relationship with someone that has children, it's a choice to be made. Either I'm going to be the one that, you know, toe the line and I'll be the provider, but not a nurturer. And then it's all hands on deck. I'm going to give my kid what I didn't receive. You know, so again, choice.
Definitely big on the choices. And it is important because rule number 1, your children are always watching, no matter how young they are. They are watching. So we have to make sure when we are making choices. And don't get me wrong, we human. We mess up a lot. that's just the reality. You mess up, you make mistakes, but just keep trying to do better and learn from them. Because when you have children, they are watching. So you want to make sure when you're choosing for you, you're choosing for them too.
Right. Streets always watching, baby.
Mm-hmm. They got me circling the block before I'm parking now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what Beans told me, y'all. Insert clip.
Streets is not only watching, but they talking now. Shit, they got me circling the block before I'm parking now.
Yes. Okay, y'all, so here's the thing. Can y'all leave us comments down below on what you guys think about parenting and different parenting skills, if you wanted to be a parent, if not, and then what aspects of your upbringing did you want to introduce to your family? Or did you?
Did you introduce it to your family?
Yeah.
Is there anything you would have did different?
Is there anything that you do differently?
We're here. We're waiting. We're listening.
Yes.
But until next time, like, comment, and
subscribe.
And we'll see y'all on next week's episode.
See y'all next time.
Good night.